Victoria Beckham just delivered a snub so bold, so unmistakable, and so perfectly timed that Meghan Markle couldn't ignore it even if she tried. While Meghan's latest Netflix project quietly slipped into obscurity, Victoria stepped forward with a documentary that shook the entire entertainment world. Raw, honest, and instantly celebrated. And the message behind it? This is how a real icon tells her story. No shade needed, no names mentioned, just pure effortless domination. Insiders say Meghan's reaction behind closed doors was explosive because Victoria didn't just outshine her. She publicly exposed the gap between authenticity and performance. And this wasn't the first time, it was just the loudest. So, buckle up because this is the moment the world realized Victoria Beckham isn't just distancing herself from Meghan. She's putting her on mute. Let's get into the full story. If you've been anywhere near a screen lately, then you already know Victoria Beckham just shook the entire world with her documentary. And when I say shook, I mean earthquake level 10. People cried, people laughed, people said wow. So that's what a real story looks like. While all that was happening on the other side of Hollywood, Meghan Markle was quietly taking the biggest L of her career. Her Netflix project, the one she was hoping would be her big comeback, barely made a sound. Not a whisper, not a cough. It came and went like a kid sneaking into the kitchen at night. Meanwhile, Victoria's film was exploding like fireworks on New Year's Eve. And according to sources, Meghan saw all of this and she was not smiling. Word from the street claims she was absolutely fuming behind the scenes. Because this wasn't just any documentary doing better than hers. It was Victoria Beckham's documentary. A woman Meghan once knew. A woman Meghan once allegedly insulted. A woman who had quietly stayed in her lane until her story became the biggest hit Meghan never saw coming. In one weekend, the world declared a winner. And it wasn't the Duchess of curated gardens and staged vegetables. No, baby, it was the queen of being real, Victoria Beckham. Now, let's get into why Victoria's documentary blew up while Meghan's barely registered on the Hollywood seismograph. It's simple. Victoria gave the world the truth. Not the pretty truth, not the filtered truth, not the let me stage a tomato plant for relatability truth. No. Victoria opened her heart like a diary she forgot to lock. She talked about her eating disorder. She talked about losing herself when David became a global superstar. She talked about the pain, the pressure, the mistakes, the lies she told herself. And she didn't try to make herself look like an angel. She looked human, raw, real, and people love real. Now Meghan, she gave the world, a lifestyle commercial disguised as a documentary. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. The garden rented, the vegetables freshly sprayed, the dirt clean, the outfit styled like she was shooting a perfume ad. The conversation so polished you could almost hear the script pages turning. It wasn't storytelling, it was presentation. And viewers aren't dumb. People can feel when a moment has been lived. And when a moment has been rehearsed, Victoria lived. Meghan performed. And in the world of documentaries, performance is the kiss of death. Now, here's where the story gets juicier than a mango in July. Because Meghan and Victoria didn't just drift apart. Oh no, something happened. And according to royal insiders, it was a moment so messy it could ruin a friendship instantly. Here's the tea. Meghan and Harry allegedly accused Victoria Beckham of leaking private stories to the press. Yes, Victoria Beckham, the woman who keeps secrets like a vault at the bottom of the ocean. Sources claim Victoria was stunned, absolutely blindsided, because for over 30 years, she's been respected for one thing above all: discipline and silence. This is a woman who survived the paparazzi era of the early 2000s without ever being exposed for running to tabloids. If David Beckham's career, scandals, marriages, endorsements, and global fame didn't make her crack, why in the world would she risk everything to leak something about Meghan Markle? But Meghan and Harry insisted. They said someone was talking. They said someone betrayed them. And they pointed their royal fingers at Victoria. Insiders claimed Victoria was insulted, hurt, and quietly furious. Not the loud, dramatic fury. No, the silent fury that ends friendships forever. And that's exactly what happened after that accusation. The Beckhams stepped back. No public drama, no arguments, just a clean, calm, elegant withdrawal. Victoria didn't need revenge. She didn't need to clap back. She didn't need to prove anything. She just waited. And years later, when her documentary dropped and the world applauded her honesty, that was the moment the universe gave her the last word. Now, before we get deeper into the drama, let's zoom in on why the accusation hit Victoria so hard. Because Victoria Beckham is not just posh by nickname, she is posh by lifestyle, by discipline, and by decades of quiet power. See, while Meghan was still figuring out how Hollywood worked, Victoria had already survived the kind of fame that eats people alive. This woman went from Spice Girls chaos to fashion industry rejection to becoming one of the most respected designers in the world. And she did all of it by following one unbreakable rule. Never let the press control your story, and never give them a reason to twist it. Victoria built her brand on silence, on privacy, on precision. She speaks when she needs to. She moves when it's strategic. And she plays the media game like chess, not checkers. Every outfit she wears calculated. Every statement she makes measured. Every appearance intentional. And behind the scenes, insiders describe her as the opposite of chaotic, calm, controlled, focused. This is not a woman who blurts out gossip. This is not a woman who calls tabloids for attention. This is not a woman who risks her empire for a moment of drama. Which is why Meghan's accusation didn't just sting. It was downright offensive. Imagine training your whole life to be disciplined and dignified only for someone to accuse you of the one thing you've never done. Victoria wasn't just hurt, she was done. Now let's talk about the part of the story that really separates these two women, the work ethic. Because behind the glam, the celebrity, the headlines, and the drama, there is one truth that every industry insider agrees on. Victoria Beckham works. Like really works. When she entered the fashion world, everyone laughed. They called her a pop star playing dress up. Designers rolled their eyes. Stylists didn't take her seriously. Journalists said she would last 6 months. But instead of crying on Instagram or releasing a 9-part interview on how misunderstood she was, Victoria studied. She learned. She practiced. She failed quietly. She tried again quietly. And she kept going slowly, painfully, discipline by discipline. Victoria won the industry over, not with speeches, not with inspirational quotes, with real skill. Now Meghan, sources say she wanted something different. She wanted respect immediately. She wanted Hollywood credibility now. She wanted the status, the praise, the spotlight, all before doing the heavy lifting. And Hollywood noticed. You can't skip the grind. You can't shortcut your way to legacy. You can't become an icon because you say you are one. Victoria earned it brick by brick, year by year, mistake by mistake. Meghan tried to buy it, brand it, and present it. And the audience just didn't buy the performance. This chapter isn't about who's better. It's about who understands the assignment. And Victoria understood it in ways Meghan never expected. In the end, the story of Victoria Beckham and Meghan Markle isn't about fame or fashion or documentaries or premieres. It's about something deeper, something every viewer can feel in their bones. It's about truth, not the polished version, not the camera-ready version, the kind that comes from living a life, surviving its storms, and finally being brave enough to show the scars. Victoria Beckham stood in front of the world and said, "This is what really happened. This is where I fell. This is how I broke. And this is how I stood back up." And the world believed her because she wasn't pretending. Meghan Markle built a garden, built a scene, built an image, built a version of herself she hoped the world would love. But images crack, scripts crumble, performances end. And in that silence, in that moment when the world chose authenticity over aesthetics, Victoria didn't just win a documentary battle, she won the narrative. No shouting, no speeches, no long interviews, just truth. And here's the twist no one saw coming. Victoria never needed to beat Meghan. She never needed revenge. She never needed the last word. She simply told her story and let the world decide.